People get coaches for three reasons: knowledge, accountability, or convenience, or a mixture of the three, and those will throughout your fitness journey.
We're back. That was a very short little break. All right, so this is the doozy of a question. What do you think is currently the most common issue or issues, I suppose it depends on how deep you want to go with it, holding society back from achieving optimal health? I know this is like a really passionate topic.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because immediately I'm going, I don't know what the state of what things are like in Australia. Here in the US, our food is garbage.
Terrible
Our
here.
food,
Terrible. We follow your lead.
okay, well, it's garbage. Um, so that's not helping anything. We'll see what happens with RFK coming into office. They've already banned Red 40, I think, this week or something like that. One of the food dyes. Of course, companies still have 2 years to get that out.
Mm.
Uh, so our food is not good. I had a client he's actually one of my coaches now and still one of my nutrition clients. And he lived in London and lived near a local bakery. And this is a strong dude. Let me tell you what, I have him eating a lot of food, north of 5,000 calories. He's a strong boy. And he moved to the US for a girl. He's getting married. So he lives in New Jersey. I didn't change his diet at all. He literally came to America and started eating American versions of the food I had on his meal plan and gained 17 pounds in about 2.5 months.
Yeah,
And
wow.
that eye-opening to me to how trash our food system is. That's one thing that I think is certainly an issue.
Yeah. The food on offer almost. Yeah. What about
Yeah.
like I suppose like knowledge and education? Because that for me would be my answer is like people just it's almost like backwards to know about your health or even to want to understand it. And we're at a stage now in society where people are almost looking for excuses that aren't anything to do with their nutrition or their training or their movement or anything like that. It's everything else is to blame. It's my genetics. It's I don't know why XYZ. Absolutely, I agree. I definitely think our food is trash. Like what's on offer. We're only just in Australia starting to get like a broader range of high protein products, low fat, isn't back in the day people used to be like, oh, low fat's bad for you. It's like, well, it's the better alternative of the really high fat foods that we've been consuming. But also misinformation, like
Sure.
the absolute barrage of like the
Mm.
keto diet, the this diet, I
Well,
did for years. Yeah.
everybody wants a magic solution. Correct me if I'm wrong. In Australia, it is illegal to advertise medications, correct? Like Big Pharma cannot advertise. Like you
Yes,
don't get
and
commercials
cigarettes
where
as well. We can't advertise cigarettes. Pharmaceuticals can't be advertised, but it doesn't stop the system from like favoring that path, if that makes sense. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, correct. So here in the US, everybody wants, you said, to blame every else, their circumstance. I love that meme. It was like, I'm fat, but diabetes runs in my family. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, you did that.
you didn't. Right, correct. It's interesting because the United States has the most gyms per capita in the world and the most
Wow.
gym memberships per capita in the world, and
Mm.
yet it's just also, from an education perspective, our Department of Education is an abysmal failure. And since its
Yeah.
inception in the early 70s, we have gotten dumber as a
Yeah.
society. The
Same here.
US used to lead in everything, and we are objectively stupid.
Yes.
And it's sad. It's really sad. So Trump is about just getting rid of the Department of Education. So it is a broader cultural love of comfort and ease.
Yeah.
It's just that you've seen those memes where it says like hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times.
Yeah.
And America, since really post World War II, has lived in those strong men created really good times, and now we have weak men. We have a
Yeah.
weak where America is falsely arrogant
Hmm.
and Like that's the problem with our culture is it everybody just wants to blame an external, which is why there's so many articles being written about it, and I don't want to get political in your podcast, but
It always does somehow. Yeah.
the United States, there's articles coming out that talk about how, if you're into fitness, you're more likely to be right wing. And it's like, well, that's simply because if you have a physique, there's no DEI for your abs, there's no government handouts or food stamps for, tight glutes. Like you had to earn that,
Yeah.
period. It cannot
Yeah.
be given to you.
Yeah.
It cannot be discriminate.
Yeah.
Period. It must be earned. And so if you're a fit person, you probably have a mindset of, well, if I want a thing, I need to go work really hard for that thing.
Yes.
So I think the just indicative, like the United States, I mean, here's a real statistic for you. And what I say all the time when I'm talking about building my personal brand in the US. Did you know only 6% of Americans are metabolically healthy? And here's how I judge metabolic health for all of my athletes. Okay. There's five things. Your blood glucose, fasted blood glucose should be under 100. Your blood pressure should be, 115 over 75. Your HDL should be sub 50 or up above 50 for women, above 40 for men, waist size under 40 inches for men, under 35 for women, and triglycerides under 150. And the reality is those numbers are still too damn high. If
Hmm.
your triglycerides are 150, I'm not putting you in a growth phase. We're coming down until I get those triglycerides under 100.
Hmm.
And if your fasted blood glucose is over 100 or even at 100, we have work to do. And
Hmm.
so the bar is still too high. Only 6% of Americans can check off all five of those buckets without medical intervention.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Yeah. It's bad. Yeah.
It's bad. I have job security for days.
And in Australia as well, like our statistics are very similar because as I said, we're kind of like your little brother. Like we just follow suit. We follow what you guys do. There's definitely a lot of ignorance. There's a lot of shaming here as well for people like the minority are definitely people like me, like people on my books that are wanting to completely revamp their lives. There's a lot of guilt that's associated with wanting to change your life. It sounds so odd, but the majority of the population, they normalize. And I would say it's actually like mass enabling. They just, like we're seeing this happen in families. The entire family is culturally enabling one another to repeat this cycle. And they don't want to take responsibility because they have been given the easy way out, or certainly maybe, as you said, some of those excuses as to why they are the way that they are. So it's become this like really vicious cycle that we're seeing, and there's just so much money in it. There's so much money from all angles for people to make because of chronic disease and chronic illness being on the rise. So it's a
You're spot
massive
on.
problem. Yeah.
I'm releasing an article on my Substack this week and the title is "You Can't Afford Not to Care About Your Health." And what I do is
Correct.
I look at top three causes of preventable death in the United States, largely being cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and
Yes.
stroke, and COPD, and things like that. And I look at, hey, what's the average cost out of pocket post insurance per year?
Yeah.
And the average cost, you're looking at $22,000 a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could spend a year with me, or you could spend 2 years with me and not pay half
Yes.
of
I love
it.
that.
And right, like you can't afford not to
Yes.
care
Yes.
about it. But also, we have the same stigma as well. So many times, I mean, I love my dad, but he's a typical grandpa. Like we know when we take our kids over there, I need to put my kids on a sugar detox for like a month. He's
Yeah.
like, all right, kids, we got donuts and pancakes for breakfast, and then we're gonna get pizza for lunch. I'm like, whoa, dude,
Oh,
like that. Like, can we have like, I don't know, chicken, maybe some
yeah.
eggs, like
Maybe something
and
green.
something green? Yeah, literally, I kid you not. One time I was talking to my dad, and I was like, Dad, like you're a grandpa, you have every right to like give the kids treats. We know when they're coming over here, like, all right, grandpa's gonna give you some treats, that's fine. But I'm like, can we give them some good stuff? And he's like, well, he's like, there was blueberries and blueberry pie. Like, no. I was like, this is not it, Dad.
That's the whole like lettuce on a Big Mac makes it healthy, right?
That's right. That's right.
Carrot and
So
carrot cake.
I don't know if you saw this. They were like New York and Chicago at McDonald's. They literally had tables where you could sit and eat your food, and underneath were bike pedals, so you could like recumbent.
Yeah, we've got them in Australia. Yeah.
Goodness.
In some places in Australia we do. Like, And I certainly think that's actually probably part of the problem too, is that we are almost like teaching people that they can counteract a shit diet with exercise, and people are like, yeah, but I went out for a run, or
Oh,
I went to the gym having that massive meal, and so it's cancelled out, right? I can eat what I want, right? So, and there's like the question of like, why am I not losing weight? I'm exercising like an absolute, and we have to point out that despite nutrition, I really don't think it's popular. It's boring for a lot of people. They just want to ignore it because they think they're going to miss out on foods they enjoy. Um, and yeah, so I think that's definitely feeding into it. I really would like to see a day where this changes in my life, where I'm alive to see it, but there's a lot of digging that's been done, and to get out of that, I don't know. I don't know. Next question, because we could go on about that one forever. Now you know why I reconvened.
I love it. Great. Let's go. I talk a lot, so yeah, you're
No,
never gonna.
same. To hold back in interviews sometimes. I'm like, stay on topic, Raya. How crucial is having a coach for reaching your health and fitness goals? You just said you can't afford it, but how crucial do you think it is?
I think it's critical. I mean, I don't have coaches at all stages, but whenever I compete, I have a coach. I currently have a business coach. I've got
Nice.
a jujitsu coach. The
Yeah.
reality is, when people get coaches for three reasons: knowledge, accountability, or convenience, or a mixture of the three, and those
Hmm.
will throughout your fitness journey. So I'm at a
Hmm.
place now where when I get a coach, it's not that I don't learn from him. My coach is fantastic. His name is Tyler Bedson, by the way. Like, you can look him up
Nice.
on Instagram, and he's a great coach. His wife is like the youngest figure pro in the United States. Great couple, fantastic coach. It's not that I don't learn from him, but realistically, I'm paying for the convenience of I coach people all day long. I like not having the mental fatigue. I just open my phone and go do what he says. And
Yes.
then two, the accountability, because when you self-coach, you're going to fall into one of two ditches. On one ditch, you're going to overthink everything. You're going to think, am I doing too much? Am I doing not enough? Right.
Yeah.
And then which leads to program hopping, which we as coaches hate, like stick with the plan. Or the other ditch is that you could potentially give yourself grace when you shouldn't. I can skip that cardio. I don't need to do that unilateral work.
Hmm.
That core work, I can get to that later. And it's like when you have a coach, if you're paying decent money, if it's a good coach and they have reasonably high rates, I think honestly, like the higher rate keeps people accountable. If you're investing, then I want to see a return. I'm paying
Yeah.
him good money. I'm going to go do what he says.
Mm.
So I think having a coach, maybe not for all of life, but definitely for a hard season to really challenge you to learn is super wise for it.
Agreed. I've got a business coach at the moment. I always feel a bit like, I guess, like bare or empty if I don't have some sort of mentor. And the thing is too, like they don't necessarily need to have a higher knowledge of you either, like than you. Sorry, it's as you said, accountability. It's the getting rid of the mental fatigue, but also as well, like as you said, kind of encouraging you to have time for yourself, which you probably aren't carving out if you don't have a coach. And so you'd know this as well as a coach is like the amount of times you're reminding a person, hey, you come first. Hey, you come first. Hey, you come first. Put the other thing away and go and do the thing that we need to be doing. So there's that constant redirection back to, the task at hand. So I love that because there are a lot of people who try and do this solo and obviously get there a lot slower. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah, coaching's so important. I do a lot of coaching myself from the business aspect. Like I have my own mentorship going on with coaches who are up and coming.
Mm,
Because a lot of young, eager, maybe even seasoned fitness
mhm.
professionals never run a business in their life. I come from the corporate world, and
Yes.
so I know how to run a business. I know about profit margins. I understand marketing and how to tell a story, reach relatability,
Yes.
results, like avatar your niches, all of these things. And a lot of people are trying really hard, but they're trying at the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And the fact, at least in the United States, the stats are 95% of personal trainers, coaches will quit within a year,
Mm,
and top salary is like 60K, and you can't take care of a family on that. And
no.
so if you want to break out of that, you had better stop doing what everyone else does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That business background, it's really how aligned we are in this, but I spent 10 years in business as well, middle management, marketing, upper management, then kind of moving up through the ranks, managing massive teams of staff. And something that I learned in that process was that it definitely translates, obviously, to owning your own business. There is that fantasy that coaches have with becoming a coach. They think, oh, I can work my own hours, I can, answer clients when I want to, and oh, this is awesome, and all I need to do is just, represent my brand, and then that's done. All I need to be doing is being an inspiration, right? And that's not. We, we've got
Well, no,
taxes. We've got so much lies beneath that. The selling techniques, as you said, and despite coaches maybe not liking the fact that they're going to have to learn how to sell, selling isn't being a used car salesman. It's actually figuring out what your client needs, then being able to yeah, deliver that to them.
love that you're saying this because I'm hiring, coaches onto my team right now, and I've got 14 coaches, and I would talk to them. Yes, I want to see their background and their skills and their experience and all that. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm looking for the right people because coaching is a
Yes.
people. I can teach skills to a monkey. I'm not worried about skills. If you
Right.
don't have them, I'll get them to you.
Yeah.
But I need people who have high EQ and have the ability to sell.
Yes.
And they say sales. I'm like, yeah, well, you think about this. Everything that we do is sales because sales is the art of persuasion. And so when you have the woman who comes to you who's eating 1,100 calories and going to cycle bar, 5 days a week, drinking a
Mhm.
bottle of wine at night, and she wonders why she can't weight, her
Mhm.
progesterone is tanked, estrogen dominant, has bowel movements every other day, you're going to have to, and her cortisol's through the roof, you're going to
Mhm.
have to convince her that less is more. And the answer is eating more, scaling back on the intensity and resting. You
Mhm.
better be a damn good salesman because that is not what is in her mind when she wants to lose the extra 20 pounds to look good on
Yeah.
the beach,
It's a massive
right? So
conversion from that point from point A to point B. Yeah.
big time, and then the EQ. One question I always ask perspectives is I said, hey, who was your friend group in high school? And my favorite answer, what I'm looking for, honestly, is like, well, I don't know. I had some friends who were like in band, and then I had like friends who were jocks, and then I was in the drama club. I don't know. I had friends like everywhere. And that to me tells me they have high EQ and they're widely relatable. And
Nice.
I'm looking for that. Can you flex your coaching style? And do you have the ability to sell? If you can and you're passionate and coachable, I'll give you all the skills you need. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's literally like applying for a job and throwing them your CV. Well, I'm not really going to look at this. I just want to talk to you first and see if you can even handle what I've got to give you. Yeah. Yeah, love that. It's even something we in business, and you would have learnt with teams and management is someone can come with all of the know-how and the skills on paper, but without being able to apply it and even have that emotional intelligence, you're screwed. Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely screwed. All right, so next question, because it's actually really, I suppose, natural that we lead into this. How crucial is it for coaches to have developed mindset coaching skills for clients?
Boy, how long do we have to talk?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is critical. I mean, on my check-ins every week, I'm asking about stress.
Yeah.
Build relationships with people long enough, they're going to start opening up to you about everything.
Mm.
Marriage issues, financial issues, relationship issues, like everything that you could possibly think of. And so, in fact, I've often joked that, and I did have a minor in counseling in my undergrad. My
Mhm.
wife was a major in counseling. I've often joked that if I went back for any further education, like a master's
Yes.
degree, I would get it in counseling.
Yeah.
And
Psychology. Yeah.
yeah, two of my girls that I brought on to coach, they're both masters bikini competitors, and both of them have master's degrees and are licensed counselors. And that was a very strategic move on my part because I want people to. And then my the first coach I hired, Taylor, she's a figure champ, and she did it natty. And she's got a huge background in mental health. And in fact, I'm having all three of them read a book right now. I'm reading with them. This is Your Brain on Food. It's fantastic. Would recommend it to anyone. And we're talking all about this topic because mindset, it's critical. And you have to be able to flex your coaching style too and figure out what each person needs. It's tough. That's something too, boy, that's hard to teach. That's almost intuitive. You can learn facts and you can learn techniques, but it's almost intuitive. You almost need to have a high EQ to be able to apply some of the techniques you learn around mindset.
Social awareness, I certainly think, is something that's built over time and a skill that I believe is developed even into like as early as our childhood. I really do. I think that if you really look at some of the best coaches, and obviously we don't know how they coach deeply because we're not in those sessions, we're not, being able to get into those check-ins. But if you talk to them, it's like, where did you learn that how to be like this? When did you learn how to get into people's minds, but in a way that wasn't manipulative and in a way that was almost going to give them a competitive advantage? Motivational speakers, I know that you love going down that road. And I was, doing public speaking from the age of 6. It was not something that was new to me. And
Your
I
parents.
certainly, I was actually invited by my school to do like a little speech when I was 6 years old. And yeah, my parents were just like, they liked throwing me in the deep end with pretty much anything. In Australia, like we teach our kids to we teach our kids to swim by throwing them in the water. So like it's pretty brutal here.
I feel like we have so much in common, even just with our leadership backgrounds prior to coaching, but there is something to that upbringing. So my dad was so hard on me in the most loving way. Um, I was involved in church from the time I was growing up, and as a little kid, like my dad made me sing this solo in church when I was 6. It was a terrifying thing of my life. And then we went to an amusement park, and there was this ride I said I was going to ride, and then I backed out because it went upside down. I was 7, and I remember my dad, like he would not let me leave the park until I went on this roller coaster.
Yeah.
And so it seems so silly, but these are memories that are seared into my mind
Yes.
that now I'm just not scared to take risks because I'm like, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out. I'll jump in the
Yeah.
deep end.
Okay.
Let's go. And that is huge for when you're trying to build a business.
Correct. There's a lot of that conditioning that occurs as a child, and certainly I think it's testing. Like at the time, was very, as you said, holy shit, this is so
Right.
frightening and so daunting. But it definitely shapes you into becoming the best coach possible, a leader later on in life. And I don't think it's possible to, like maybe you can pivot from your teen years and change. I went through a stage there though where I was like an absolute dickhead, like, and we all do,
Oh, yeah.
as you did, and we kind of almost, I think, like our natural adaptability to be able to thrive and to do well can sometimes we can have that crash and burn, and we've got to come back out of it to then go, hey, what I was originally doing was working pretty well for me. I just need to hone that into a different skill set and apply it to something else. And we do learn a lot of that in our childhood. So I do believe there are too many coaches in the industry and there aren't enough quality coaches because there are too many people coaching that just shouldn't be coaching, and I don't think they ever can coach. It
Right.
sounds pretty brutal.
What's sad is most of those, though, they'll flame out in a year or two
They
because they
do.
realize,
Yes. They almost get a little bit, I think, frustrated with a lot of the client facing stuff. Like you'd come across this where you'd have a client check in and you're like, oh, this is spicy and difficult and I like it. Almost like, all right, here we go, game on. And I do see with some other coaches that it's the polar opposite of that. It's, what do I do with this? I can't deal with it. I how do I approach the situation? And they oftentimes just avoid it altogether.
hold on.
Yeah. So mindset coaching, and this is stuff that because you've got coaches on your books. You mentor coaches. Yeah. Wow. So as you said, maybe it can't be taught, but maybe slowly over time.
These can. I think I have really high EQ. I don't have a master's degree in psychology.
No.
So what I'm trying to do with the coaches that I hire, I am intentionally bringing on people that are better than me at certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I
Nice.
know my skill set has always been team building,
Yeah.
and I love teaching, and I love team building. Like that's what I love to do. And so, you know, Taylor is the first coach that I hired. She is fantastic, has a background in mental health. Girl's got state records in powerlifting. When we did her first competition this last year, PA Muscle, and we're like, you should do women's physique. While you're at it, let's do bodybuilding. And then literally 3 weeks out, we're looking at her, we're like, I really think she could do figure too. 3 weeks out, she
Chameleon.
and learned all the poses, and she won all of her classes in everything.
Wild.
And so she's killing it. The second guy I brought on, Aaron Chappell, Big Daddy Chap on Instagram, he is a world record holding powerlifter. I'm good at getting people strong. He is excellent at getting people strong. So now when people come to us for strength, I'm like, you got to go to Chap. He's better than I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared of that because when they elevate, the brand elevates. So I'm
That's
like, let's
right.
go.
Yeah, you
So
played a strength in that aspect. Yeah.
that's right. I know what my strength is. I know how I can make them better
Mm.
and they can make the brand better. So that's what we're going to do.
And it goes across everything. As you said, like you were working for Amazon there. I worked for a massive company called Lorna Jane in Australia. It's like this massive activewear company. pioneered activewear pretty much from the start of gym gear, being stuff that you didn't just wear to the gym. So in Australia, she was the first person to do it.
It was like here.
Like Lululemon, but it basically she shit all over Lululemon in Australia. No one was buying Lulu. Yeah, and she came before Lululemon as well. So it's like a cult over here. It's died down and simmered down a little bit now, but I worked for that company, and despite being very underpaid, something that they had me doing was shifting around from all of the flagship stores because there was some underperforming stores. There were just stores that just weren't making money that should have been. And I went in and I was looking at the dynamic of the team members, and they had, a team member who was great at selling, doing stock out the back, and someone who was a little bit more introverted selling and not doing stock. And it was like this absolute schmozzle. And I was like, why are we rotating staff like this? Why don't we just stick them where they want to be and
Right.
leave them there? It didn't make any sense. I was like, just play to their strengths. And that was the key to getting these stores back to performing baseline or even just above. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I love that your team works like that as well because, and it's so hard to find those puzzle pieces. Once you start getting to all of them fitting, getting that last one.
I'm still looking for people for coaches who specialize in endurance. So
Yeah.
essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a brand where no matter what your
Goal is, yeah.
physical endeavor is, we have somebody for you. So I'm looking for Olympic lifting coaching and endurance because I'm not coaching Oli. That's not my skill set. I'm not going to do it.
Mm.
And then I'm building redundancies into that as well. So, but yeah, that's the goal anyways.
I love it. Yeah, endurance coaches are hard to come by, and even as well, the clientele are hard to come by as well. They're definitely a market that want to do it themselves. Painful. um, Now, last couple of things because we're going to finish up. I don't want to hold you up. It is your Sunday evening. I want you to spend time with your family. Your favorite saying or quote?
Oh man.
Just one, Anthony.
I don't want to be that guy that quotes himself. That's kind of
Go
weird.
ahead.
I mean,
Go ahead.
actually, no, I'll tell you my favorite quote.
Okay.
It's Zig Ziglar. You can have everything you want in life if you help other people get what they want in life.
Oh,
And
wow.
so that has been kind of when I'm trying to build my business and bring my coaches on, I'm trying to pay them really well. I want to change their life. I want to build something that they can be proud of, take care of them well. And then in turn, they're doing everything that I ask. They're promoting the brand and growing this. My brand is growing well,
Mm.
and clients' lives are being changed. And so everybody wins the whole way around.
Yeah,
And so
right.
that has stuck with me. You can have everything you want in life if you help other people get what they want in life.
Perfect. That's great. That's a very selfless approach. That's fantastic. Um, well, my favorite saying or quote is "This too shall pass." That's always been
Yes, that's right.
so simple.
You can
Um,
apply.
yeah, and there's been many moments in life where I've just been like, you know what? No matter how shit this is, it's not forever.
Right.
Yeah. Or even how good it is, it's also not forever. So
Yeah,
you must be
right. Keep
grateful.
keep you grounded in reality.
Right. Yeah. Love it. All right. So the end, which is a surprise. And for anyone listening to this podcast, I think I'm going to do 2 episodes, split this up because like I always do that with interviews. I always do part 1, part 2. Keeps people hanging out for the next episode.
Yeah.
For those listening to this podcast, I have not told Anthony what I like. We haven't pre-discussed these questions. This is not rehearsed. I admittedly wrote these questions 10 minutes before the interview.
Love it. Hey, these are the best type of conversations.
Yeah, they flow. It's good. All right, so we're going to do a quick 10, this or that. Okay. Yeah. And look, honestly, I am going to tell you, I haven't judged you this entire podcast, but I will judge you in this final part. This is where the judgment happens. This decides whether we can still be friends.
Oh boy, no pressure.
All right, so pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Okay. Yep. So far, so good. Cinemas or movies at home?
Movies at home.
Really? That's nice. I like that.
Well,
Yeah,
I got a big TV, and my food is not overpriced.
thank you. And when you go to the cinemas too, you're sharing this with everybody else as well. It's not
Right.
that, yeah. Summer or winter?
You're not gonna like this one.
Am I?
That's not true. See, that's funny because you only have like 2 seasons over there. I prefer fall.
Okay, I was going to say, do you know what's funny? I was thinking when I wrote this question, he's going to say autumn or fall.
I prefer fall because I love hunting, and also spring is great. The temperatures are roughly the same, but
Mhm.
it's very wet. Fall is it's beautiful. You can work outside without dying. It's
Fall. but it would have been winter because of snow.
I well, because it's not even the snow. I hate sweating just
Yeah,
existing.
yeah,
Like if I'm gonna sweat, I need to be in the gym working out or working. If I'm sweating sitting here, like I
yeah.
hate that.
What is this even for? Why?
Heck, I'm a large human. Like, I don't want to sweat.
My fiance hates summer as well. Like he will almost get like mentally frustrated with it, you know, "Rrr," like why am I so hot? So yeah. Um Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're American, man. Like this,
Coffee.
if you answered tea, that would be weird.
That'd be so
What are you from the UK? Walk or run?
walk.
Yeah, I like it. Because what are we running from? So far, you've got aside from winter, we're doing okay. Monopoly or Scrabble? Monopoly. I was going. Did you play Scrabble over there? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we have Scrabble, but I play Settlers of Catan. That's my jam.
What?
You heard of Settlers of Catan? Get that game now. So it's very strategic.
Okay,
I play with my kids all the time. I like it because you can like it's a strategy game. You can knock out a round though in like under an hour. Monopoly is like you're
it's
committed.
forever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Scrabble. I'm a Scrabble girl, but that's only because I beat people in Scrabble all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not very good at buy and sell, like properties and things. I will go broke first, but Scrabble, I will beat your ass.
Oh,
So yeah, cats or dogs?
dogs.
Dogs, yeah, okay, cool. Good. We're okay now. We're redeeming here.
I say that as I have a cat right down here, but the
Yeah,
reason is we live on a little like farmette,
oh yeah,
and she really helps with the mice. Yeah, I raise my own chickens. I have chickens for laying hens, and
love
I
it.
raise my own birds, and I've got a pig out there.
Nice.
And with mice, she keeps the mice down.
Nice. Cats are useful. Yes, they are useful. We've got a cat too. But I'm a dog person too, so it's okay. We're again, even playing field. Train by yourself or with a friend.
By myself.
Same. Yeah. Friends slow you down.
I'm training with one of my wellness girls tomorrow,
Okay.
and I like doing that occasionally, and we'll get some good content and footage and all that. But I like to just put my headphones in, hat down, and get after it.
Yeah, it's your own time. Yeah. Beach, I'm gonna have to define the meaning of this. Beach or bush? Bush is what is bush?
Like the woods,
Yeah, I just put in brackets forest.
forest.
I was like, a question mark, is this what you said?
Oh, see, that's hard because I like both. I would, if I'm going to say where do I want to spend the quantity of my time, the forest, because I
Yeah,
like to hunt, but I love
nice.
the beach. We go once a year, and we're not far. In Pennsylvania, we're an hour and 10 minutes.
Hunting's a big thing over there because like here we literally only have like two things we can hunt. It's like wild kangaroo or like wild boar, and that's it. The birds are too small to shoot here. So,
Ironically, I eat kangaroo quite a bit.
oh, good. Yeah, high protein, high iron, high red meat. Sorry, high red meat. Of course, it's red meat. It's a red meat, high iron.
Yeah, yes,
Good.
fry
Um,
and red meat.
you're doing so good there, Mariah. Low in fat, red meat, high in iron and protein. Yeah. Okay, so last question. Now, this is gonna like this is basically I will never speak to you again if you don't answer this right. Australia or New Zealand?
Australia.
Ah, yes.
Well, I don't know anything about New Zealand other than the fact that,
You did. You probably would have answered New Zealand. I'm not gonna lie.
well, I know The Lord of the Rings was filmed there largely, and also they're the other country in the world that allows you to market pharmaceuticals. It's the U.S. and New Zealand. Yeah, they're the only two countries on planet Earth where you can market pharmaceuticals directly to consumers.
Wild. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
New Zealand is a really beautiful country. It's perfect climate and yeah, just stunning scenery. Australia is it's beach or bush. That's it. Which
Yeah.
is two things. Occasional forest.
Occasional all right. All right.
Yeah, yeah. But no, thanks so much, Anthony, for coming on board and talking about what you have today. It's been really awesome. Really looking forward to you're gonna have a podcast soon, apparently. So
Yes.
exciting.
Say, oh man, this year is starting off faster than like starting in the month of April. I have at least two bodybuilding shows per month to go through until the end of November.
Wild.
So,
Yeah.
so it's coming. It's coming. The thing is, our giant rebrand, rename, website launch, all that kind of stuff is like 6 to 7 weeks out.
Yep.
So that's priority. We're going to be at the Arnold Classic in Columbus here in like 6 weeks, doing all that kind of stuff. So once that stuff is out and launched, yes, a podcast is coming, and of course, I'll have to have you on.
Please. That would be
Give
great.
me this or that.
Yeah, yeah. You can get me back with a lot of this stuff. So, yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for jumping on. And I'll finish up and say have a great evening. And we're looking forward to having you back or me back or whichever one we do first. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Bye.